So a few weeks ago on my YouTube channel, I published a video that ended up being very popular and a lot of people seemed to enjoy it. Obviously that's never the full story though here on YouTube, as with a lot of people enjoying something, you also get a lot of people hating on something. It ended up getting comments like this, and then comments like this, and whilst fun, whilst entertaining, these commenters do kind of have a point. I have left it too long between these videos, between the iPhone 6 and the Samsung Galaxy S5, so I thought, let's straighten the record out. This is 10 reasons the Samsung Galaxy S5 beats the Apple iPhone 6. So yes, once again I'm going to be breaking down 10 reasons that could go towards me or yourself choosing the Samsung Galaxy S5 over the iPhone 6. This is hopefully going to help you formulate your own opinion. So kicking this one off, let's start with the display, and you probably saw this one coming from a mile away. Say what you will about Samsung's build quality and design of the smartphone, but there's no contest when it comes to the display quality. Samsung can make some of the best smartphone panels on the market, and the S5 packs a Super AMOLED panel at a resolution of 1920 by 1080 compared with the 1344 by 750 display found on the iPhone 6. It's not just resolution though, the S5 display is just incredible all round, with great saturation, great back levels, and an incredible amount of detail that's just not up to the same standard on the iPhone 6. Next up, the S5 is IP67 certified, meaning that the Samsung Galaxy S5 can be immersed in water and still be pretty much fine. I wouldn't do something as extreme as going swimming with this phone, but for using it, maybe just after you've washed your hands, and perhaps worse to come to the worst, and drop it in the sink or something like that, it's going to be fine. Definitely do not try that with the Apple iPhone 6. Just no. Yes, now we're talking about battery life, and this is quite a big topic, so I'm going to cover off quite a few points to this video relating to the battery life. To start with, the battery life on the Samsung Galaxy S5 is just far better than on the iPhone 6. I'm lucky if I get to the end of the day with any charge left on my iPhone 6. Most of the time I'll have to charge up or boost up throughout the day. I can easily get a day and a half out of the use, or a day of very solid, very intensive use, and be left with charge by the end of the day. However, if you do happen to be in a tight battery situation, this brings us on to the next reason: ultra battery saving mode on the GS5. This puts the S5 into a state of low battery, restricting colors on the display, turning certain radios off to maximize battery efficiency. It's awesome in a tight situation, and the closest thing on the iPhone 6 is airplane mode, which is good but essentially turns your phone into an expensive paperweight. And then finally we come onto the cherry on the top when it comes to battery life: a removable battery on the Samsung Galaxy S5. Worst comes to worst and you run out of charge throughout the day, swap the battery out for a spare, get an entire extra day of charge. No brainer, insanely useful, and I wish every phone had this capability. On the topic of what goes on around the back of the phone, it's probably worth talking about the micro SD card slot on the GS5 too. The iPhone 6 comes in 3 storage variations. There's 16GB, 64GB, and 128GB, each jumping up significantly in price respectively. Once you choose your storage, you're stuck with it. However, on the Samsung Galaxy S5, a micro SD card slot lets you expand that storage you get with your phone, and that's dramatically cheaper to do than on the iPhone 6. Next up, onto the camera. The camera on the iPhone 6 is arguably one of the best on the market. However, something which just isn't possible with its 8MP shooter is 4K video recording, which is entirely possible on the Samsung Galaxy S5. It means you get a much better crisp video, which retains a high amount of detail and clarity. This may only be useful for certain people, but it is definitely a pull, and it's something that a lot of dedicated DSLR cameras can't do even at this point. Next up, we have the notification light on the front of the S5. This is something that I've fallen in love with Android phones, and it's something I wish Apple would definitely adopt. A simple light pulsing at the top of the phone lets me know I have a notification without me having to even touch my phone. Very useful and very simple. Instead of talking about Android advantages over iOS, I'm just going to mention the vast amount more control over customizations that can be applied to Android on the S5 as opposed to the iPhone 6. An example would be if I don't like the lock screen, I can just totally remove it to mean I have access to my phone at the touch of the lock button. And of course I don't have this kind of control at all on the iPhone 6 as it's a lot more restricted from Apple. Finally, we come to my last point, and that is toggles. With Control Center, Apple has included some drastically needed toggle action to iOS, however it is still miles behind Android and TouchWiz here. Opening up the toggle settings on the S5, and the amount of toggles that you can customize and access is just huge. Things like NFC, touch sensitivity, mobile data, and then if you don't need them, you can simply remove them. You really need to take note here, Apple. There we have it, guys. Again, this video isn't meant to give you a definitive answer to the question what is better, the iPhone 6 or the Samsung Galaxy S5. Its aim is to help you make a best informed decision as possible, so I hope this has helped. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, as it does really help the channel out. Let me know your favourite phone out of these two in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see you all next time.